The second largest and third largest bank runs in history happened last week. The government is taking steps to guarantee all deposits. That means more bond selling and money printing. Thousands have approached Noble Gold Investments to secure their wealth with gold. Gold is the most stable asset outside of government control. Hurry and go to noblegoldinvestments.com to secure your wealth and get a free 5-ounce America the Beautiful coin if you qualify. noblegoldinvestments.com, that's noblegoldinvestments.com.
We've got former governor of Arkansas, Mike Huckabee, to join in on the conversation. Trump compared America to a banana republic. I want you to take a listen to this.
The Biden regime's weaponization of law enforcement against their political opponent is something straight out of the Stalinist Russian horror show. And you know, we go Stalinist Russia, that's what it was. This was where it seems to have begun from the standpoint of us watching it in semi-modern day history. You go back to communist China or look at a third world banana republic. That's what we've become.
Governor, he spoke for so long it was still daylight when he made those comments right there. Your reaction to the speech that we just heard?
Well, one of the things that's pretty remarkable about Donald Trump is that he's been giving speeches like this for 8 years since he came down the escalator in the summer of 2015. And if you think about it, he's still giving not only with the same energy, but he's covering the full spectrum of the issues that Americans care about. Now, to be in full disclosure, look, I'm a Trump supporter, so I'm going to speak this from the standpoint of someone who supports him and believes he would be great for the next 4 years. But beyond that, what he gave us tonight was the reason that so many people still support him vigorously. And here's the contrast. There are going to be a lot of people on the Upper East Side of Manhattan and people in Georgetown who will be having their wine and cheese parties. They're going to just think that all those people at that rally were a bunch of losers. But let me tell you, the wine and cheese crowd don't number anything like what I call the Waffle House crowd. And that's who populated that speech tonight. And what he told them was what they wanted and what they needed to hear, that the America that they love, the America that they want to see once again, is an America that he's willing to fight for on their behalf. And that's the magic of Donald Trump. And one thing I just want to point out, he made some big news tonight in the whole issue of Ron DeSantis, because a lot of people have said, gee, I wish he wouldn't say anything about DeSantis, leave it alone. And I understand all of that. But tonight he explained why. And it was all back, really about loyalty. Ron DeSantis wouldn't have been governor of Florida without Donald Trump's intervention.
Yeah.
And I think Donald Trump, like a lot of us, think that somehow loyalty matters in politics. I think it does. I think there are two virtues, loyalty and confidentiality. Be loyal to the people who helped you and learn how to keep your mouth shut. If you have information that could be hurtful to someone, be confidential if you're truly close to someone.
I think to play off of what you were just saying, such a defining factor of Trump's presidency was that, you know, he had a lot of supporters from all walks of life. You call them the wine and cheese crowd and then the Waffle House crowd. But, you know, both of those crowds he has supporters in. And if you look at some of the recent polls that we went over earlier, take a look at the McLaughlin and Associates poll. It has former President Trump beating Joe Biden by 4 points as of right now. What's your reaction to that?
I think it ought to be more than that. I mean, you mentioned early on, right after the speech, that he didn't have to have the Easter Bunny leading him off the stage. He didn't fall down the stairs of the airplane, and he didn't shake hands with the ghost. I mean, the contrast is pretty clear. He could actually read his own teleprompter, and he didn't have to have his teleprompter. He'd go off script for 30 minutes and wax eloquently. And I think that so many of us love Trump, you know, even when he says things and we just say, oh my gosh, should he have said that? But here's the point. He loves to get up there and just have a freewheeling good time. He is incredibly entertaining, inspirational, and America needs somebody who is not so careful, not so cautious, not so scripted, not so totally controlled by a bunch of people sitting in a room telling him exactly what to say and where to stand and where to go. And I think a lot of us find it refreshing that this is a guy who goes to the podium. He knows some things he's going to say, but if it hits him, he'll say some things that maybe just popped into his head. And frankly, I find that refreshing in a political environment where everybody is so careful and always scripted. This is good for us to hear
I think
this.
we know that Donald Trump is not scripted.
And, you know, he defended himself with the criminal case regarding Stormy Daniels. He called her horseface. You know, that was entertaining. You gotta give Trump the credit. He keeps it real. He's very authentic. He's very entertaining.
Yeah.
He knows how to whip up a crowd. He even has a dramatic entrance. He also said, I declared I am your voice, and we will look to expand the wall even further. As president, I will also immediately end the invasion at our southern border. And this, I thought, was one of the most incredible lines, Governor, and you tell me what you think. Either we destroy the deep state or the deep state destroys us.
And a lot of Americans can certainly relate to that. They know that is the truth. They see it in their daily lives. They don't feel it like Donald Trump does. They've never been persecuted and prosecuted like that. But they realize that the government and its powers are stacked against them if they don't just somehow kowtow to every rule.
Yeah.
If they don't wear the mask when they're supposed to. If they don't, just quit going to church and say it's okay to shut down their schools. And a lot of Americans are kind of happy that somebody is willing to stand up to the deep state and say, instead of you coming after us, we're coming after you.
Yeah, great point, Governor.
We
He
want our
also said,
country back.
I'll prevent World War III. That, with everything
And he
going
said he would
on.
have ended in 24 hours, the Ukraine-Russia war.
Yeah, you know, you've got President Xi and President Putin, you know, this love fest over the course of 3 days in Moscow, and then Vladimir Putin invited President Xi to Beijing. We'll see if that happens. But, Governor, just a final thought on, and yes, he goes off script, and I think that's to play to the crowd, which he's a master at doing. But when he talked about Ron DeSantis in that 2018 gubernatorial race down there in Florida against Andrew Gilliam, he made a good point, and I was there at the time. They were neck and neck, and then DeSantis got the Trump endorsement, and that put DeSantis over the edge in a big way. Can you talk about that?
I was in Florida at the time myself, and quite frankly, Ron DeSantis was probably in third place as that race first got underway. And it was Donald Trump's intervention that took Ron DeSantis from third to first place, and he would not have won without Trump's endorsement. There's no doubt about that. And I think Donald Trump just feels like that if Ron DeSantis wants to be president, he's a young man, he's got plenty of time, but maybe it would be a good thing for him to say, thank you, Mr. President.